What if the Trial of Seven isn't the real battle next episode, but the moment Dunk almost lost himself years ago in Flea Bottom? Because that trailer, it's not just teasing a fight, it's teasing the origin of the fear that could get him killed. And if this flashback means what I think it means, episode 5 might completely reframe who Dunk really is before the lances even collide. The trailer opens on something we've never seen before, a young Dunk in Flea Bottom, poor, alone, afraid. And that instantly tells us this isn't just a hype reel for the Trial of Seven. This episode is about identity, about nerve, about where Dunk's strength truly came from, and possibly where it almost broke. Flea Bottom isn't just a setting, it's a pressure cooker, narrow alleys, grime, danger around every corner. This isn't casual world building, it's character construction. Flea Bottom represents survival, and survival does one of two things to a person. It hardens you, or it teaches you to hesitate. That hesitation is deadly in a trial by combat. What stands out immediately is that someone is watching Dunk and his friend from a distance. That detail matters. Dunk wasn't just a scrappy kid running wild. He was vulnerable. And if this episode explores how he met Sir Arlen of Pennytree, then we're not just getting a backstory. We're getting the emotional blueprint for why Dunk wanted to become a knight in the first place. Was it honor or was it escape? Those are two very different motivations, and only one of them survives a battlefield. Then we hear the line, "This city, it's too small for us, Dunk, let's go someplace else." On the surface, it sounds like ambition, freedom, a bigger world waiting, but the trailer immediately undercuts that idea by cutting to Dunk alone in the woods at night, cold and clearly afraid. Leaving Flea Bottom wasn't some heroic leap into destiny, it was fear wearing a different mask. The show wants us to understand that growth didn't come easy, it came through isolation, and then comes the candle, a single flame. Don't lose your nerve. That line is doing heavy lifting. In the past, it could have meant survival in a city that devours the weak. In the present, it means life or death in front of nobles, princes, and gods. The transition from young Dunk holding a knight's helmet to present-day Dunk preparing for the Trial of Seven is not subtle. The helmet isn't just armor, it's transformation. It's the distance between who he was and who he's trying to be. But here's the real tension. Is he actually ready, or has he just been playing the part? The lineup of the seven makes that question even sharper. Armor gleaming, lances steady, Vinyl Baratheon with those antlers rising from his helm and gold armor catching the light looks less like a man and more like a legend carved out of war itself. He's imposing, mythic, terrifying. And then there's Dunk in the center. Not royal, not noble-born, just a hedge knight whose legitimacy is constantly under scrutiny. The contrast is intentional. This trial isn't just about guilt or innocence. It's about worth. As the speech begins, may the seven bear witness to our solemn and bloody offering. The weight of the moment land. Aryan's side stands armed and ready. Egg watches from the stands, anger flickering across his face. But that anger might not be directed solely at Aryan. It could be aimed at the system itself. The hypocrisy of a world where the most honorable man in the field has to prove his worth through violence while trueborn nobles hide behind titles. Here's where the flashback becomes more than emotional seasoning. What if it's setup? What if in the middle of the Trial of Seven, something triggers that old fear from Flea Bottom? Don't lose your nerve, stop sounding like encouragement, and start sounding like a warning. Because against Aryan, hesitation isn't symbolic, it's fatal. The episode's extended runtime, 37 minutes, suggests this backstory isn't filler. It's foundational. They're giving the past room to breathe because it directly informs what happens next. This could be the moment Dunk finally stops being a boy who once picked up a helmet in desperation and becomes the knight he's been trying to live up to. Or it could be the moment we see just how thin that armor really is. The fear in young Dunk's eyes might mirror the fear we'll see right before the lances drop, past and present colliding. Identity and survival meeting at the edge of a blade. And if the show plays this the way it's teasing, the real battle won't be between seven knights on a field. It'll be between the scared boy from Flea Bottom and the man who can't afford to hesitate. And when you factor in Aryan's dynamic with his own brother, the emotional temperature rises even higher. He doesn't care for him in the slightest. In fact, he wants Duncan to be the one who cuts him down. That kind of bitterness doesn't stay hidden behind a visor. It bleeds into posture, into stillness, into the way a man lowers his helmet before a fight. So when we see Aryan pull down the front of his helm in the trailer, it doesn't just feel like preparation. It feels personal. It feels like a man stepping into something he's already decided decided must end in blood. And judging by the framing, it looks like Aerion and his 6 will likely hold that section of the field we're shown, positioned with the confidence of men who believe the gods are on their side. Then we cut to the rest of the lineup preparing. Lionel Baratheon steadies himself, Baelor Targaryen mounted on that massive black destrier, a true warhorse built for impact. The horse alone feels like a weapon. It's towering, restless, snorting into the mist like it already senses what's coming. All the horses are shrieking, agitated, stamping against the ground. That detail matters. Animals react to tension before men admit it. The fog rolling across the battlefield only amplifies it. Everything feels suspended, charged, like the air itself is holding its breath. The trailer at this point isn't just showing us a fight, it's staging a reckoning. There's also a brief but very deliberate shot of Maekar gripping his mace. That's not random. That weapon carries weight beyond steel and iron. In the chaos of the Trial of Seven in the source material, Maekar delivers a fatal blow to his own brother, Baelor Targaryen. It's an accident born from battlefield frenzy, but it changes him forever. He carries that guilt for the rest of his life. So showing the mace swinging through the air in the trailer isn't just visual flair, it's quiet foreshadowing, and it's paired almost cruelly with Baelor addressing his side. Be vigilant, don't die. The placement of that line feels intentional, almost ironic, because he does die. The trailer knows that, and it wants book readers to feel that weight settling in early. Then, in the middle of all this intensity, we get something unexpectedly human, Dunk vomiting from nerves. It's uncomfortable, but it's also honest. This isn't some fearless golden knight stepping into glory. This is a man staring at the possibility of his own death and reacting the way most people would. And if you look closely in the background, Raymond Fossaway is throwing up too, which makes perfect sense. He wasn't even supposed to be here minutes ago. Now he's risking his life for a cause that escalated faster than anyone expected. The humor of the moment doesn't undercut the tension. It sharpens it, because it reminds us these are men, not legends. Not yet. After that, the trailer accelerates. Quick cuts, steel flashing, bodies colliding, and then there's that shot of Dunk frozen, staring through the narrow slit of his helmet. And in that split second, the fear we saw in his younger self, the boy curled by a tree in Flea Bottom, returns. It's the same look, the same flicker of doubt, which raises a terrifying possibility. What if in the opening moments of the trial, Dunk hesitates? What if the flashback isn't just context but a trigger? Because hesitation in a melee like this isn't symbolic, it's lethal. That could explain why we hear Egg screaming "go" from the stands. Not as a battle cry, but as a wake-up call, as if Dunk needs someone to snap him out of that paralysis. And when he finally charges, the trailer gives us that stunning transition from a rear tracking shot behind him to a full point of view perspective through the helmet. It's immersive, immediate. We're not watching Dunk anymore. We are Dunk. The sound dampens. The world narrows. It's just breath, metal, and impact. If there's one thing this franchise has consistently delivered, it's visceral, grounded battle sequences. And if this episode leans into that style, tight camera work, chaotic choreography, emotional stakes, it could easily stand among the best they've ever done. But here's the twist. Despite all the action teased, despite the charging horses and clashing steel, there's a strong chance the trailer is misdirecting us. It may look like we're heading into a full extended battlefield spectacle. But structurally, this could be more about the flashback and the emotional lead up than the full trial itself. The show might be building tension only to cut the actual outcome short, saving the true aftermath for later. If that's the case, then episode 5 isn't just about who wins or loses. It's about what fear does to a man on the edge of becoming something greater, and whether Dunk steps forward as a knight or gets swallowed by the same doubt that once haunted him in Flea Bottom. If there's one pattern this franchise loves, it's loading the real chaos into the penultimate episode. Game of Thrones did it. House of the Dragon did it. The second to last chapter is usually where everything explodes, so I'd be surprised if a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms suddenly decided to break tradition. Episode 5 feels like the inhale before the scream, and honestly, that makes sense. Right now, we're standing at a crucial point in Dunk's journey. Before the lances shatter and bones break, there's value in slowing down and asking, who is this man really? Not the knight in borrowed armor, not the accused champion, the boy from Flea Bottom, the kid who survived filth, hunger, and danger on streets that swallow the weak whole, the dreamer who wanted something bigger than the alleys of King's Landing, the orphan who somehow found his way under the wing king of Sir Arlan of Pennytree and dared to believe he could become more. That transformation matters more than any single blow in the Trial of Seven, because if we understand how Dunk endured Flea Bottom, how he learned resilience, how he clung to nerve when fear tried to paralyze him, then the trial isn't just spectacle. It's payoff. It's the collision between who he was and who he's trying to be. And here's the thing, I genuinely wouldn't be shocked if this episode ends right as the real battle begins. Steel raised, horses charging, cut to black. Some viewers might hate that. Personally, I don't mind at all. If the show gives me emotional groundwork now and promises full-scale chaos next week, I'm satisfied. Anticipation, when done right, is powerful. As long as I know the storm is coming, I'm locked in. So that's the breakdown of the episode 5 trailer and what it could mean moving forward. If you want more deep dives into A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the full playlist is waiting for you. And if you don't want to miss what happens when the Trial of Seven finally unfolds, make sure you're subscribed. Now, I want to hear from you. Does the episode end before the battle truly erupts, or do we get the full clash? Let me know your predictions in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.